Hey guys, it's been a long time since I posted on the channel. Got a lot of projects going on in the background, so we're going to catch you up. This is Costantino Garage. Okay, got a lot of projects going on. Let's start with the 70 Camaro. It has been a little slow. It has not been a whole lot of done to it since you've last seen it. The electrical panel is mounted. Started running some of the wiring into the back. Everything is very, very rough and loose. Fabricated some seat brackets and such to get the driver's seat in. That is very rough at the moment. Still need to button that up. Still need to mess with the shifter location, things of that sort. And that's basically where it's been sitting for a while because we've been working on the 56 panel and the 57 truck. So let's go take a look at those. All right, boys, it's been a long time since we had the panel on the channel. We've been doing a ton of work to this thing in the background here. As you can see, we kind of went a little different with the image. We got these big old truck tires, like they're like 33s. We finished up all the brakes. Motors dialed in. We got the drive lane in. We got a custom drive shaft made. As you can see, we got exhaust ran. Everything is good to go as far as drivability. We're gonna do the first test drive. Give you a little preview of the inside here. We made this custom box here to put the shifter on so it's up high, very comfortable. All this is going to be cleaned up, obviously. The wiring still needs to be finished up. We got a carpet kit that we're going to throw into it. But first, we want to give it a little shakedown run to make sure all the mechanics of the motor, transmission, brakes, everything's dialed. So we're going to fire this thing up and take it on its first test cruise.
Are we ready?
All right, fire it up. You got the exhaust going here. Sounds pretty good. This is gonna be the first time this car is moving under its own power. I don't know, probably 20, 30 years. Look at this thing rolling. Well, as you can tell, there's no door latch, so I gotta hold the door closed. We got no seat belts.
We're gonna ratchet it too, baby.
Ratchet shift.
The steer's not too bad.
Whoops. Okay, brakes feel pretty good. All right, do the 1-2 shift. Let's see. Oh, it's not shifting. Okay. I think we're low on transmission fluid, big time.
I'm just gonna put it in drive.
Let's see how this thing shifts. It's shifting a little high. All right, turn here. I think it needs tranny fluid. Brakes seem to be working. Engine's running good. Shit, feels like it's got pretty good power. Of course, we had to goose it. It's not even warmed up, you know. Oh, see, something's rubbing. Here's what the panel is looking like today. As you can tell, we started on the bodywork. Got the back half of it getting there, looking really good. Installed a brand new windshield. The interior is pretty much done. New carpet kit, everything's buttoned up, wiring buttoned up. Shifter, transmission, gauges. We even got The aftermarket old school looking radio, everything is working great. New seats mounted, back end's clean, but now you know they're a little bit dirty because of the bodywork action. But so this thing runs and drives great. So all what's left is the bodywork. As you see, we did this side as well. New glass installed in the back. A little bit of areas to weld and finish up the bodywork, and then sooner or later, you guys are going to see some color on this bad boy. You guys remember this truck? It's been here for a while. I have now started to dive into the wiring because it's a little bit of a rat's nest in here. I pulled up the carpet, pulled the seats out so I could get a better look of all this carnage. You know, the solid state relays back here. We got the controllers for the door locks and actuators. The ECU is back here. Just everything was kind of just put together, and yeah. So as you can see, there's just connectors and spliced wires and electrical tape, and oh dear God. So we're gonna dive into all this and we're gonna clean this bad boy up. All right, we're able to get the shifter out, all the carpet, the air compressor in the back for the horn, and now you can see all the wiring spaghetti mess here. So now, since everything's out of the way, start diving into this. I'm gonna relocate the solid state relay. We're eliminating one of the controllers because it's not needed. We're gonna relocate a lot of stuff here. All right, dive in a little bit deeper in all this. I got a lot of the wires eliminated. They're down here where I'm gonna rerun, shorten. Got the relay out. It was over here. I think I'm gonna run it up here. The ECU for the Holly is gonna go up here. So I kind of want to centralize all the electronics down to like one ream, make it simple. Same thing that goes from the wiring from here, that has to go to here. I'm gonna do one solid ream, nice and clean, instead of having, you know, a million different highways, which is just horrible. And everything's gonna be loomed and gorgeous. So I took the coil off as well, sitting over there, so I could fix the wiring for the ignition and then fix all this wiring, and then I'll eventually make my way up into that dear godness, the black hole. So, and of course, I'm gonna wire up the switches all correctly, and we're gonna add a few things to the switches. All right, after many hours, this is where we are. ECU is back in, got it all bundled up. All this stuff is gonna also be zip tied and nice. Redid all the ignition wires, everything is good there. Cleaned up the top. All this will be buttoned up behind the bar. I just want to access a few wires before I do all that. Got the main harness running through the center. Got the ECU and the solid state relay and a bunch of other electronics all in the back here. Everything is wired up and good to go. Just got a few more things to button up on this thing, and then we can start fixing the parts that are broken in the motor. Okay, it's getting there. All cleaned up. Basically one ream for the ECU. Looking good. Just gotta finish up looming. I cleaned up underneath fuse panel, just a couple more wires that need to be cleaned up. And then I just gotta button up the battery end. Got power wires coming through here. Hook all that up. And then this bad boy should be ready to come back to life. All right, got the portion of the battery all wrapped up. Nice and clean. Sort of reconfigured the fuel lines a little bit and the power line. Redid the wiring for the electric fan. Ran all this through underneath front cage area, and it goes into the firewall, so all that's clean. So now the only thing left is this side. All these wires are fine, but we've got a million connectors here, which is done. This is for the front end, for the turn signals, headlights, stuff like that. So I'm gonna pin all these together to one Deutsch connector. The other side is over here, this is the front end. plugs in all these. So instead of having 47,000 connectors, we're gonna have one connector with all of these pinned into one, and make it a whole lot easier just to disconnect one plug to pull the front end off. Okay, this is pretty much finished product of the wiring. I got everything loomed. Those wires right there are going for the horn and compressor, which is going to be over here, but that's not going to be hooked up yet. I am going to finish looming some of these exposed wires, and that center bundle there is all going to be loomed, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to make sure when we get the components for the motor all done and we fire this thing up, make sure everything is operating correctly before I button everything up. Once everything's running good, throw the carpet kit back in, the interior, the seats, everything. I've already started taking apart the valve train. We had a busted rocker and a bent push rod. Everything else looks pretty good though. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna swap out all of these rockers. These rockers are really old school Ursins, which no one runs anymore. So we got a set of comp cams, push rods, and roller rockers. So once those come in, we're gonna slap those on and hopefully fire this bad boy up. So that's what we've been doing. Lots of work, lots of wiring, motor, transmission issues we've been sorting out. All right, guys, so now you know where we stand on all the projects. Next video coming, the 57 truck should be all buttoned up, ready to fire up, and then hopefully we'll get it to the dyno tune and get a couple pulls on that thing, which would be really cool. Then we could get back on the 70 Camaro. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Hit that like and subscribe button. This is Costino Garage.